Greetings everyone. In today's video we're going to be discussing about the document for landlords. It's called Notice from Landlord to Tenant Termination for Failure to Pay Rent. And the whole purpose of this document is if you are a landlord and you're going to be providing this document to the tenant, you'll be either delivering it to the tenant in various different ways to let them know that they are not paying rent, and to just basically give them notice that the landlord's going to be taking their actions that they need to in order to remedy the situation. And you as a real estate agent can assist with providing this document and assist with filling it out. It's pretty basic information that's here. It starts with a non-lawyer disclosure, but this is the document that you would use if you're working with maybe a landlord, maybe you're doing some property management, or you're assisting a landlord that you were a listing agent for, that there's now an issue with the tenant, they're not paying rent for whatever reason. You could use this document and assist, but providing it and filling out some of the basic information in it. Now, but before we begin, as always with our videos, we take a minute to talk about our brokerage, Nizz Realty Inc. We are licensed in the entire state of Florida. We cover the entire state of Florida, every county, every city, every area. We are a 100% real estate commission brokerage, meaning we pay all of our agents 100% of their real estate commission. How that works, I'll explain in a minute, but our website, nizzrealty.com, generates a tremendous amount of leads. We have access to the market and MLSs throughout the entire state, not just one specific area. We're all over the entire state of Florida, and we generate a bunch of seller leads, buyer leads, rental leads, commercial leads. We have a home valuator tool on our website where seller leads can fill out their property address and get an estimate for their home. That brings in an extremely large amount of seller leads and a bunch of other information. If you're interested in joining our company, you could go to the Join Our Firm page and learn more about us and our 100% commission structure. There's a lot of technology, a lot of support, a lot of benefits that we offer. We do have an annual plan with $0 monthly payments, so there's no payments to make every single month. And there's a lot of technology and information and incentives that we provide that make your life a lot easier and a lot of benefits to help you be successful in this industry. Our channel here is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, for Florida real estate contracts. I keep the videos simple. So if you're interested in learning more, come to nizzrealty.com and take a look, or give us a free call for free confidential consultations. Our number is right here. It's toll free. But enough about our company. Let's get into today's video and start filling out this document. Now, when filling this out, there's a non-lawyer disclosure to fill out first. You as the real estate agent, let's say you are John Doe today. That is the real estate agent that is going to be helping assist the landlord filling this out. You could read through this paragraph, but basically, you as the agent, you fill your name in here in all these sections. The next part is down here. You have the landlord, typically that you're working with here. The landlord checkmark the I can read English if they could read English, and if they can't, you have them checkmark down here, and you fill out the name of the person that translated this into whatever language that they can understand. So simple enough. They can read English, check here. If not, they check here, and they fill out the name of the person who translated it in which language. With the agent, you just put your name here in all these sections. Then the landlord signs it down here and dates it, and you as the agent sign it down here in the bottom left. And that's the non-lawyer disclosure. Simple enough. You can read through it if you'd like to understand what it's talking all about. The next part here is the actual document itself. It's one page, pretty simple to fill out. It's basically the landlord notifying the tenant of termination for failure to pay rent. To simplify that even further, the tenant's not paying rent, so the landlord's using this document to give to the tenant to let them know that termination is pending because of their failure to pay the rent. Now, to fill this out, you put the tenant's name. Let's say the tenant is, if it's multiple people, a company, you put that information here. If it's 2 or 3 people, you put their information here, all 3 people. But for the purposes of this video, let's just say Billy Bob is the tenant, and you put that information there. Now the address of the property is what you put next, where the property that Billy Bob here is renting. So let's just say he's renting 123 Happy Street in Miami, Florida. And make sure you put the full property address. If there's a unit number, make sure you put the unit number. Don't leave out the unit number, don't leave out the city, don't leave out the state, don't leave out the zip code, a full property address. Don't write something like this and think that it's acceptable, because it's not. You need to write the full, as it states here, city, state, zip code, full property address. I know it sounds silly, but I see people do this all the time, and it's unacceptable. You can't put that there, to put it politely. Use the full property address as you're supposed to. That's even why it says it here. So, unit number, full property address, full zip code. Now the from here, typically you'll put the landlord's information here. So, let's say John Doe was the agent. Let's say Harry Doe, I guess, is the landlord's name. Just to think of something off the top of my head, but you basically put the landlord's name here. We could even put this here, landlord's name. You could put that there for, because it's going to the tenant. It's from the landlord. It could also be from maybe the landlord's property manager. But that's typically the two individuals that you would put there. It'd either be the landlord's name or the property manager's name. Usually I've seen the landlord's name. The landlord's putting their information there because it's going to be directly from the landlord, letting the tenant know directly. You date it, whatever the date is, you put the date here. You are hereby notified that you are indebted to me the sum of whatever the amount is that is owed by the tenant. Let's say the rent was $5,000 a month, and the tenant missed 2 payments, so maybe $10,000 is what they owe. Maybe there's in the lease contract some type of additional fees for late rent. You sum up that amount to there. For the rent and use of the premises located at, insert the address of the premises, including county. So let's say this is the address up here to the tenant. You put this, and then it also says including county, so you put Miami-Dade County, Florida. Just because it's asking you to fill it out like that, including the county. So you'd write the county name there, but you do the full property address again, and you put the addition of the county there. And the next part here is I demand payment for the rent or possession of the premises within 3 days, excluding Saturdays, Sundays, blah, 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 from the date of delivery of this notice, on or before, and you put the date there. Let's say you're demanding it, on the 19th. You fill it out like that. The program I'm using does it automatically to fill it out, but you just put the date there of when the amount is being demanded. The landlord would sign here, right below that, and then the name of the landlord or the property manager, you put that down there. So that's simple enough. Just put landlord's name there, or the property manager. The address, street address where tenant can deliver rent. So you'd write the address of wherever the owner's address is. You put the full address again, and you'd put up here the amount. So let's say up here it's going to be 456. Then down here you put the city, state, and zip code. So remember, we put the unit number if there's a unit number, but you're basically putting an address here where the landlord is located, where the tenant can go and pay rent. A lot of times these days the tenant will pay rent through electronic purposes, so they're not really going to a physical location to drop off a check or to drop off cash. But if they are, and for the purposes of filling out this contract, you put the address here in the city and state and zip down here. Then the phone number of the tenant you put down here, or I mean of the landlord you put down here. That's simple enough. You put a phone number down here. And then you could put hand delivered, check mark here on whatever date that it was hand delivered, or you could post it on and you put a date there. You could say it's hand delivered. Typically the way I see these things are delivered is you will fill out this document, put it in like an envelope, and then you go to the door of the premises where the tenant's residing and they're not paying rent, and you'll put like a notice on the envelope or something along that line, and you paste it to the door, then you take a picture of it that it was on the door. Typically the photos nowadays, like on your phones, they have a date of when the photo was taken, just to have an additional record of it, that it was posted on the door at this date. That's one way of doing it. You could also send it by certified mail to the address with signature required. You could do that. So that's one way of doing it. Typically, I think the best way of doing it when they're not paying a rent, because if you send it by like mail, sometimes they reject it or they won't accept the mail, they won't answer the door. You typically post it on the door and take a picture of it that it was delivered on the door, and you have a photo of it that it was put on there as like a notice. But there's other ways that you could go about doing that. If you would like to know about better ways to like do it for just like legal purposes, I can't really get into that, but you could speak to your attorneys about that, or you could talk to your brokerage if there's a better way to provide notice for that. But typically the way I see it is, hand delivered, and there's ways to deliver that and so forth. Then this form is completed with the assistance of, you put the name, address, and telephone number of whoever assisted with filling out this form for the landlord. Or the landlord could fill it out themselves. A lot of times I even see agents, because this is such a simple document to fill out, they just give this document to the landlord and the landlord will take care of it themselves. But if the landlord needs help filling this out, then you could, guide them with some of the basic information of putting this together. Just make sure you fill out this non-lawyer disclosure. That is very important. So that's how you fill out this specific notice from landlord to tenant, termination for failure to pay rent. It's a simple document. If somebody's not paying rent, causing a problem for the landlord, you could use this document and have it hand delivered, or speak to your attorney if there's other way that you want it delivered, or the landlord could act in their own interests, how they feel is best to deliver this document. I hope this was helpful. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.